Permissions in SharePoint are weird, and if you truly want to be secure, you need to understand SharePoint and M365 groups and Azure. Luckily, we're covering all of that and how to make this super easy to maintain, regardless if you have complex security or just a few users and you don't want to work very hard. I'm Sean, and let's go. Inside of SharePoint, if I come over here and create a new site, I have two options. The features between them are very similar. The communication site gives you slightly more UI abilities. For permissions, a team site gives you an M365 group. We'll come back to that. Let's keep it simple and choose a communication site. And I'm gonna pick the standard one, use this template. I'm gonna call mine Communications Big Event, click Next, and then create it. If I'm planning a big event, I would need other coworkers to help me. So I could invite them here by clicking Site Access. And here's a common mistake people do. They come in here, they pick some human and invite them. What if you have really large teams? You're just gonna keep inviting them one by one, and every time a new person is hired, you're gonna have to get an email that says, oh, I need to invite them. A best practice is to use groups. If you open up Azure and you type in here Entra, and you open it up, you're gonna have an area called Groups. So I can come in here and make a new group, and you could choose between security and M365. I promise we'll get back to this one. Let's keep it simple and choose security, and we're gonna call it Party Planning Committee. And I can scroll down here and choose who's going to be in it, like Anna, and click Create. Now, you might not have privileges to Azure, and your IT department does this for you. If so, great. Most companies have different departments or different teams working together, and the IT department specifically divides them all into the right Entra group, and you can repurpose it. But if you don't get access to Azure, you probably have access to the M365 Admin Center, and you could go ahead and add a team or a Microsoft 365 group here. What's also nice about making these teams or groups, and if I did it through the Admin Center, no sweat, just switch this to Office Group, and it'll let me select any of the same groups or teams I have right here. So I'm not gonna add Anna this way. I'm just gonna type in Party Planning Committee. Now, SharePoint gives you three basic access controls. You can be a site visitor, which means you can only read things on the site. You could be a site member. This will allow you to edit or add new documents. It also lets you just edit the site itself and what appears here. It's a very powerful role, sometimes too powerful. Then there's site owner. They have even more power, such as deleting the whole site and deciding permissions. Now, you might have noticed when I had the Party Planning Committee, it said I could do read, full control, or edit. Guess what? These three drop-downs are identically connected to all of these groups. Watch, if I select full control, it's gonna put them here into site owner. But then if I switch from full control to read, it's gonna drop them down to site visitor. Why are they calling these three different names than this? I don't know. In my case, I want the Party Planning Committee to be able to add and modify things. Now, Anna might send you an email saying, I don't have access, what's happening? To confirm, you can hop over to the gear, go down to Site Permissions, and click Advanced Permission Settings. You can click under Check Permissions, and you can type in Party Planning Committee, or you can just type in Anna. And boom, Anna has edit permissions given through the Comms Big Events group. So you can email Anna saying, hey, wait a few minutes and try again. And usually if Anna just opens a new browser and tries, boom, now she gets access. Now, if you notice here, I'm logged in as Anna, and I have the power here to edit the actual homepage. Like I can edit whole web parts and just put in things like Anna is the best and publish that, which maybe is fine, but as the owner of the site, I might look at this and think, yeah, no, the Party Planning Committee should not have this much power. I just want the Party Planning Committee to work with inside of documents or lists, but not be able to do all of this. To limit their permissions, I'm gonna go in here under Settings, choose Site Permissions, click Advanced Permission Settings, and you'll see our three SharePoint groups again. Yes, the exact same ones that we saw on the menu. So none of these groups are good enough for us, in particular because their permission levels are either too loose or too limited, like a Goldilocks problem. So we want some other permission levels. To do that, we can go over here to permission levels, click that, and we have a few more options. We already know that this one, edit, and read are too much, but look at this contribute one. It lets us view, add, update, and delete list items and documents, but it's not as powerful as edit, which lets us edit the list itself. And if you want more information, you can click into it and start seeing, oh, what can this do? It can add items, it can edit them. I like that. It can't modify permissions, terrific. It cannot customize pages, very cool. And maybe you're like, oh, I like this, but I don't want them to delete the items. It might be tempting to come up here and then now submit this. You never want to customize the default permission levels or groups. And that's a good rule for not just SharePoint, but any Microsoft tool. Instead, rather than starting over, you can come down here to copy permission level. I'm going to give it a name specific to what's different about this permission level. And then I'm not going to let them delete items. I won't let them view past versions. And I don't want them messing with alerts. And I'm going to uncheck edit parts because I don't want them customizing the web areas. Once I'm done, I'm going to hit create. I have my new permission level. And if I click on permissions, now I can create a new group. To use these permission levels, I'm going to call it Comms Big Event Content Managers. And you get some other helpful things to consider, like, do you want people to be able to ask to be part of this group, or is it invite only? And the main one I wanted, which is you choose their permission level, which is the new one we made. Click create. Now it navigates you here, which is annoying, so I like to hit back again, and refresh the page. Now if we hop into members, here's our party planning committee, but now I am going to remove them from here, and I'm going to add them to this group. And now Anna, who used to have edit permissions over all of this, if she refreshes, you'll see she no longer has edit site permissions. Here's a quick pro tip for testing permissions. Let's say I have this Kelly test user and I want to see what her experience is like here. Even though Kelly is part of the party planning committee, if I'm just doing testing, when I add the party planning committee here, it can take a while before the security and all the settings sync up. So what I like to do is just add Kelly directly, because then she'll get the permissions right away. See? Another tip is if you give Kelly permissions to this SharePoint group and Kelly still can't see what you expect her to see, you can hop into the permission levels, click on the level you made, and slowly start checking more checkboxes and keep increasing her permissions until you figure out the problem. Real quick, the biggest mistake you can make in SharePoint is selecting an individual file and clicking share. You never want to share an individual file. We don't have time to discuss it here, but we made this whole PDF for you. You can check out. The link is in the description. It goes into all the specifics of why you should never do this. It's super easy to understand. Click the description below. Here's a common problem. I have Anna's account here and Kelly's account here. And let's say that I have this VIP guest list, which is a very special list I only want certain people to see. So in this case, I don't even want Anna to have access to this list. But for Kelly, not only do I want her to have access, but I want her to be able to modify anything here. Like right now, she can't change any of the columns, and I want her to be able to have a lot of power just in this area. So list or document library. We're going to come up here into settings, and we're going to go to library settings. We're going to click on permissions for this document library. You'll see you get a big message. This library inherits permissions from its parent. If we go to the site permissions, do you see how this looks a little different? That's because I'm in the main site permissions that we've been going to through site settings. But in this one, I'm in my VIP guest list permissions. But my point is everything that's set at the site level here trickles down to all of your lists. That's why it says inheriting. So if you make someone if you put someone in the visitor group and they only have read permissions, well, in this specific document library, they're also just going to have read permissions. But if you want this library to be special and not listen to these same rules, what you have to do is click up here on Stop Inheriting Permissions. The first thing I'm going to do is I want to give content managers, since this list is so special, I'm going to get rid of all these other groups. I'm going to hop over into the M365 Admin Center, and just to switch things up, I'm going to add a new team. I could also just come up into Azure and make a group here. And don't worry, I'm going to explain all these different groups and teams and M365 groups at the end. So let's make a team, and I'm going to grant permissions. And inside of Azure, I have the VIP managers, but because we're testing, I'm just going to invite the person individually. So I'm going to invite Kelly to this group. And under Show Options, I'm not going to give her the previous role that's rather limiting. I'm going to give her edit permissions, like slightly higher in here. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to click Share. So if I refresh, Kelly's part of the group. And then if I refresh both of these sites for Kelly and Anna, first thing you will see in the menu is that Kelly can see VIP guest list, and then Anna cannot, which is the goal. And then if I click into VIP guest list, you'll see here that suddenly Kelly has way more powers in here. Like, she can add documents that she wants. She can even add her own columns. I probably wouldn't let an end user have the ability to like edit columns, but I'm showing you what's possible. So she can add new VIPs into here if she wants, and she has full control here to do what she needs to do. But if you notice, although she can add columns and such here, if we hop over into documents, Kelly doesn't have those same superpowers in here. She can only add and view the same permissions that we gave her here with contribute, no alerts, no deletes. Also, if we hop to our site permissions, you'll see now I get this warning. Some sites have different permissions from what you see here. If we click show these items, it's obviously going to be talking about this new library we just made. Yeah, VIP guest list, breaks inheritance, so just so you're aware. As you're starting to see, SharePoint permissions are just a little odd. For instance, even though we can lock this list just down to Kelly, if there are multiple VIP managers and we only want to see their stuff, like Kelly should only see this record and not see Taylor Swift, we can't do that in a document library. But what's bizarre is if we go to a list instead, here under list settings, if we go to advanced settings and not permissions where I would expect it to be, if we go under advanced settings, you can specify which items users are allowed to see, read only their own stuff or other people's stuff, and create an items that were made by other people. Like, this is handy, but it won't work for me in a document library, however, will work for me in a list. When we started this journey, we went to create site and chose communication site. If we choose team site, pick the first template. If I choose this one, it's gonna make an M365 group for me. So in here, I'm just gonna use this template, and you will see here that it's gonna say it's gonna connect to an M365 group. So you're gonna get OneNote, you're gonna get a group email address, and you're gonna get a team calendar. So I'm calling this team site with M365 big event, and let's create it, click finish. Besides the look and feel, the main thing you need to notice that's different is if we go up here, I have this one member button, but if we go to communications, you'll see there's site access. So if I click here, I can add people like I showed you earlier. So if I go here and I type in Anna, I'm not just adding Anna to this website as a member. You'll see that I have a couple options, member and owner. If you remember back here, I have owner, member, and visitor. Here, I am adding them to the SharePoint site and setting their permissions. On a team site, I'm just adding whether they are a member or the owner of the M365 group. So I'm not even getting to choose what their permissions are for this site because I'm just adding them to the group. So let me click save and watch this. If I had to go try to add members and I type in party planning, like I did on the communication site, if we go here and I click save, it seems like I can do it, but I'm gonna get a nasty error that's like, no, you can't add that. You can't take a group and then add it to another group. I'll show you. Under here, under active groups, if I refresh, I'll see there's my new team site with M365 big event. Here it is. And then if I go into Azure and I refresh, there it is, team site with M365. You may notice that in Azure, I see every type of group in the system. But if I'm in M365, it's only showing me M365 groups. It doesn't show me Azure-specific security groups. Anyways, now that I've added Anna to it, you'll notice if I go back to the groups here and I click on it and I go to membership, the owners are me, but under members, there is Anna. And yes, I can go into here and instead add people through this as well. Like I can add Kelly through here, and this will also add her right here if I refresh. There she is. Versus on the communication site, it's just one way. So on the communication site, I went into Azure, made a party planning committee, put people in it, and then I put the party planning committee in the communication site. When you make a team site, it makes an M365 group for you, so you can just start adding people to the group. Now, when would you use an Azure group versus an M365 group? M365 comes with obviously an email box, a calendar, OneNote. An Azure group doesn't get any of that, but an Azure group can connect to all kinds of other Azure services. Plus things like an email, OneNote, Planner, all that might just be overkill for what you're trying to do. And in case you were thinking it, wait, when I make an add an M365 group, will this give me a SharePoint site? And the answer is yes, it will make a SharePoint site for you. So if you come up here on Create Site, it'll make you your team site and it will make you your M365 group. If you come over here and make an M365 group, it will also make you a SharePoint site. The interesting thing is if you go here to add a team, so what does add a team do? It does exactly the same thing as M365. It will give you a Microsoft M365 group, which is Planner, Outlook, all this stuff. And it will get you a Microsoft, one of these things. So I'm going to call this team site with Teams M365 big event. And if I click add team, you will see I have the first one I made from SharePoint, and then I have my new one. And then if I come up here and go into Teams, there it is, team site with Teams M365 big event. But over here, team site with M365 big event did not get a team. And then if we go into our SharePoint Admin Center, I click on Team Site with M365 Big Event, the one that did not get a team associated with it. Are you tired of hearing me say team? You'll notice that in here, if I click on it, it says, hey, do you want to add teams to this team site with M365 but doesn't have a team? And then you can end up doing the same thing if you want to. But I'm not going to do this. Let's go back to our team site and talk about a key permissions difference. If I click into site permissions and go to advanced, we'll see here we have team site with M365 big event owners. And if you compare it to our communication site, if I click into owners, I see myself because I made this site. But if I go into the teams when I click on owners, there's no one here. What's up? The reason is these owners are actually stored up here in Site Collection Administrators in a group called Team Site M365 Big Event Owners. This is fascinating because this group technically doesn't exist. If we go into active groups, there's Team Site with M365 Big Event, but nothing with the word owners at the end. What they're actually referring to, if you open this up, is if you go under membership, they're referring to these owners. That's who it's talking about. On that, you'll also notice on our team site, if I want to edit or remove user permissions, I can't do it at all in any of these on a team site. But on a communication site, of course, I have the option to edit or modify permissions because this site isn't bound to an M365 group. Now, Site Collection Administrators have more powers than the SharePoint full control owners. I'll show you what I mean. Remember our VIP guest list where we wanted to limit who could see it? If you recall, Kelly currently has edit permissions to this library. If I remove Kelly from here, but then I open up big event owners, and besides myself, I also add Kelly into here. Now, if we refresh Kelly's experience, now she has edit rights, she has full control, she can do whatever she wants on this site, on top of also seeing VIP guest list. But hang on, I can also come in here and totally remove this group, the owners group, from this library. Now it's like no one really has permissions to it. And then if I refresh it, sorry, you do not have access. But if she goes to the main SharePoint site, she has access to it, but look, that whole VIP guest list is gone. And the only reason I can still see it is if we go to permissions, remember what I was talking about? Even though this group is removed from this site, under Site Collection Administrator, I'm still here. So what does this mean? On your team site, if I make a new document library and I call it VIP guests, and then in this list, if I go to permissions for this document library, I stop inheritance, and I take all these and I remove all these permissions, we'll see Anna over here does not see VIP guest list, but Kelly, she does, which is a little strange because Kelly couldn't see it earlier. And the reason for that is because even though this library has no groups, in this site collection administrators, it's the M365 group, the whole group, the owners of it are in here. And if we go to our team site M365 group and we look under owners, there's Kelly. That's why she can always see them. So you got to be aware of that because this could or could not be the desired result. There are a few more complexities around permissions, particularly around sharing files and more that can really make your systems a nightmare. And we didn't even get into how SharePoint sites interact with each other. If you're curious about that, check out the link below. We have all kinds of resources to make SharePoint a system you love and not a system that you ruined. Take care.